Mesdames, Messieurs et amis, je vous invite à vous joindre à moi pour souhaiter la bienvenue à nouvel membre de l'Order de la Nouvelle-Écosse. Ladies, gentlemen, friends, please join me in welcoming the newest members of the Order of Nova Scotia. Please rise for the entrance of their honors, the Honourable Mike Savage, Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia, and Miss Darlene Savage. Please join in the singing of our national anthem, O Canada. Please be seated. Through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1725 and subsequent treaties, the connection between the Mi'kmaq people and the Crown has been formalized, and it remains a foundational aspect of modern Canada. In the spirit of meaningful reconciliation, we are proud to acknowledge your presence on the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people in what is today Nova Scotia. This kinship and connection endures through the special relationship that exists between the King of Canada and the Mi'kmaq people. These treaties remain foundational to the relationship that exists between the Mi'kmaq and all Canadians, and are best exemplified by the phrase, "We are all treaty people." It's now my honor to invite Elder Marlene Companion to come forward and perform a smudging ceremony. Elder Companion? Thank you, Elder Companion. Your Honor, may we proceed with the investiture?
Please proceed.
To be invested as a member of the Order of Nova Scotia, Dr. Afua A.P. Cooper, Halifax. As an author, historian, academic, Halifax poet laureate, and leader, Dr. Afua Cooper has contributed to the fabric of Nova Scotia's literary landscape, serving as an accessible exemplar to emerging Nova Scotian writers from diverse backgrounds. For more than 25 years, Cooper has dedicated herself to research, study, teaching, and the celebration of Black Canadian life. She's been instrumental in the creation and definition of the emerging field of Black Canadian studies. Cooper has played a central role in building upon the previous generation of scholars of Black Canada to move the subject to the center stage of scholarship across multiple disciplines in Canada and around the world. Her mentorship of faculty and students, including Black and racialized students, and her leadership among African Nova Scotian arts community and academic organizations has helped to establish new groups of work to work for positive change. Cooper has reimagined history through engagements with literary arts, performance, education, and human rights. Through critical, creative practices, she has shed new light on the histories of African peoples previously underrepresented in the scholarship, public memory, and education. Her pioneering work in history and dub poetry arising from her Jamaican ancestry exemplifies a life lived with the deepest of integrity. As a public intellectual, she has been a strong advocate for Black youth and for the Black community, breaking down barriers in teaching, research, and knowledge production as a whole. Her efforts in the area of anti-discrimination and inclusion have made her one of the exemplary leaders in the field and an outstanding Nova Scotian. Your Honor, Dr. Afua Cooper. Professor Alan E. Marble, Halifax. With an extensive multidisciplinary career, including leading the development of a province-wide genealogical network, conducting innovative research in cardiovascular surgery, contributing to academia in the discipline of bioengineering and Nova Scotia's medical history, Professor Marble's work has worked in a diverse array of fields and has been of national significance. Founder and multi-term president of the Genealogical Association of Nova Scotia, he's been central to building an organization focused on encouraging and assisting family history and research in the province. Marble served on the Board of Trustees of the Public Archives of Nova Scotia, with the Royal Nova Scotia Historical Society and the Federation of Nova Scotia Heritage. Throughout, he has tirelessly demonstrated a great vision and commitment to enhancing our understanding of the province's rich history and the many families who have played a role in its development. The foremost historian and presenter on Nova Scotia's medical history, Marble created a lasting legacy as the author of two renowned books, Surgeons, Smallpox, and the Poor, A History of the Medicine and Social Conditions of Nova Scotia, 1749 to 1799, and Physicians, Pestilence, and the Poor, A History of Medicine and Social Conditions in Nova Scotia, 1800 to 1867. His collaborative research, concurrently in the faculties of engineering and medicine at Dalhousie University, formed the basis of pioneering work in cardiovascular surgery, working to clarify the reason for the failure following surgical vascular grafting, which ultimately improved patient outcomes. The holder of 3 patents and with a role in founding of the School of Biomedical Engineering at Dalhousie University, he highlights the diversity and breadth of Professor Marble's lifetime of contributions. Your Honor, Professor Alan Marble. The Honourable J. Michael MacDonald, Halifax. Nationally respected jurist and former Chief Justice of Nova Scotia, Michael MacDonald has dedicated his professional life to public service and the legal profession. Born in Whitney Pier, he was called to the bar in 1979 and practiced as a lawyer until being appointed a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia in 1995. In 1998, he was elevated to the position of Associate Chief Justice of that court, finally moving to the senior-most position in 2004 as the 22nd Chief Justice of Nova Scotia. The courts in Nova Scotia evolved during his tenure as Chief Justice, and during that time on the bench, he strove to enhance accessibility and understanding of the judicial system, underpinned by a passion for outreach and openness. In 2014, he led the creation of the Nova Scotia Access to Justice Coordination Committee, a group of legal professionals working to make the province a national leader in access to justice and to judicial equality. Throughout his time as Chief Justice, he undertook significant judicial outreach efforts to engage Indigenous communities and African Nova Scotians. MacDonald's efforts to foster inclusion in the province's judicial system saw him establish a judicial mentorship initiative for African Nova Scotians and Indigenous lawyers. As Chief Justice, he also devoted time to volunteering with Phoenix Youth, hosting Justice Day camps for young people from historically marginalized communities. After retiring from the bench, Mr. MacDonald led the Mass Casualty Commission, which examined the horrific events of April 18th to 19th, 2020, culminating in 130 recommendations designed to make Nova Scotians and Canadian communities safer. Your Honour, the Honourable Michael MacDonald. Joseph P. Shannon, Port Hawkesbury. Noted business leader, ardent community supporter, and philanthropist, Joseph Shannon has helped countless people and organizations throughout Nova Scotia with his entrepreneurial contributions and generosity. His commitment to community development and philanthropy have been hallmarks of his many endeavors. In addition to building a number of highly successful enterprises and contributing to the development of industries throughout Nova Scotia, Shannon has also been a mentor to aspiring entrepreneurs and business leaders. In this role, he's taken time and attention to help guide many individuals and organizations towards success, with a focus on regional development in our province, Nova Scotia. Shannon is a generous and dedicated leader who has left his mark on countless corporations and organizations throughout the country, notably Cape Breton University. As chair of numerous fundraising campaigns, he has helped CBU grow, thrive, and diversify. He did much to support the development of the Purdy's Crawford Chair in Aboriginal Business Studies and Aboriginal Youth Mentorship Program at the Shannon School of Business. His philanthropic contributions outside CBU have been extensive and include the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation, the QE2 Health Sciences Centre, the Gaelic College, and the Port Hawkesbury Community Centre, among many others. Your Honour, Joseph Shannon. Robert Sobey, Stellarton. Outstanding philanthropist and volunteer, Robert Sobey provides his guidance and leadership to multiple institutions to enhance the arts and education in Nova Scotia, across Canada, and beyond. Sobey offers his business acumen and oversight to fundraising campaigns and a variety of foundations and charitable boards. His substantial philanthropic contributions have created career and learning opportunities for countless students in our province, and as an unwavering advocate for the arts His support helps to provide exposure and accessibility for our province's talented artists. Sobey is chairman of the Sobey Art Foundation, the DR Sobey Foundation, and the DR Sobey Foundation, through which he helps to promote the work of Indigenous and Canadian artists. For his roles as past chairman of the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia and distinguished patron of the National Gallery of Canada, Rob's vision and counsel are highly valued and sought after by artists, leaders, and policymakers throughout the arts sector in Canada. In the educational realm, Sobey has dedicated himself to improving the quality of life for Nova Scotians through the formulation and creation of groundbreaking models of post-secondary education support programs such as the Sobey Awards program at the Nova Scotia Community College and the Sobey Atlantic Awards at Queen's University. A staunch advocate for the Canadian Armed Forces, Sobey served for 12 years as honorary colonel with the 1st Field Regiment of the Royal Canadian Artillery, a privilege that he counts among his proudest endeavours. Your Honour, Robert Sobey. Ladies, gentlemen, and friends, please join the Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Savage, on congratulating the newly invested members of the Order of Nova Scotia. We'd now like to call upon the Chancellor of the Order, His Honour Mike Savage, to address the gathering for his first Order of Nova Scotia investiture. Your Honour, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. McCreary. Former Lieutenant Governors, Francis de LeBlanc, I don't think His Honour, Mr. Grant is here. I must say it's very nice to see His Honour up and about after a little health incident, which is going to make him good for another 40 years. Good to see you all, and allow me to thank you both for the great work that you've done in helping Darlene and I join this role, including, of course, Patsy, who wasn't half bad at it. Elected officials, honorees, distinguished guests, and friends. Good morning, bonjour à tous, Gouay, Jalasi. As the representative of the King in our province and as Chancellor of the Order of Nova Scotia, it is indeed a pleasure to welcome you to Government House for today's investiture. À titre de représentant du roi dans notre province et à titre de chancelier de l'Ordre de la Nouvelle-Écosse, c'est avec plaisir que je vous souhaite la bienvenue à la résidence du gouverneur pour cette cérémonie d'investiture. Darlene and I are very happy to see you all here today. As Chris said, this is the first time I have been privileged with the opportunity to invest members into our province's highest order. And while I have presided over a number of investitures since being sworn into office, today is very meaningful for me. Next year will mark the Silver Jubilee of the Order of Nova Scotia, and my family has warm memories of the first investiture, in that my late father was one of the first recipients invested. Since 2001, Nova Scotians have been recognized for a broad array of contributions. Like today's investees, they each played a part in adding to the social fabric and the well-being of our province, and in the broader sense to Canada. But you still join a very select group of just over 120 Nova Scotians who have been accorded this honor. We gather to recognize the exemplary citizenship of 5 extraordinary Nova Scotians. In recognizing their contributions, we should celebrate their passion, commitment, their empathy, generosity, and drive. Dr. Afua Cooper, Professor Alan Marble, former Chief Justice J. Michael MacDonald, Mr. Joe Shannon, Mr. Rob Sobey. Each of us can learn from the lives that they've lived and the contributions that they have made and continue to make. None of them are the type of people to rest on their proverbial laurels. Rather, they are perpetual change makers and seekers of good. The 2024 appointees have added to our understanding, to our support of culture, heritage, genealogy, medical science, entrepreneurship, philanthropy, and public service. They have collectively made an outstanding contribution that, as you have heard, is difficult to summarize. As the highest honor our province can bestow, this order exemplifies what it means to be an outstanding contributor to the life and the being of Nova Scotia. L'Ordre de la Nouvelle-Écosse, plus haute distinction accordée par la province, symbolise les contributions remarquables à la vie et à l'essence de la Nouvelle-Écosse. Honors are a tangible way in which the Crown, on behalf of Canadians, recognize those who strive to make our communities, our province, and our country a better place to live. The fact that our honor system is grassroots driven makes it accessible and a tool for recognizing people who the broader polity think worthy of recognition. It is, in fact, a publicly driven process that relies upon citizen engagement. This all draws from the model first established by the Order of Canada in 1967. Au nom de Sa Majesté, le Roi, et de tous les gens de la Nouvelle-Écosse, je vous offre mes sincères remerciements pour tout ce que vous avez accompli et pour tout ce que vous avez partagé avec vos concitoyens. Nous pouvons tous être inspirés par votre succès et en tirer de la fierté. Vous incarnez vraiment l'esprit de l'ordre en cherchant à vous dépasser et accéder à des réalisations exceptionnelles. On behalf of His Majesty, the King, and all Nova Scotians, please accept my heartfelt thanks for all that you have accomplished and all that you have shared with your fellow citizens and all that you will. Your success is something from which we can all draw inspiration and pride. I believe that you truly embody the spirit of the Order by seeking outstanding achievement. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Walaliak.
Merci, votre honneur. I'd ask you to please rise for the singing of the Royal Anthem, God Save the King, and remain standing for the departure of the Vice-Regal Party. Please be seated. We would ask that you remain in the ballroom while we set up for the official photograph. This will be followed by the reception in the drawing room and the front foyer. Thank you.